have a super guest who actually is a second time around. Sergeant Sims, how you doing?
It's been going great.
Good, good. And we're glad to have you back because you always inform us and excite us as well with information, new information that's out there and things that have occurred and in that area and things that have occurred in your life as well.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm eager to hear what's been cooking in the pot.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir. So tell us, what is anything new taking place? Well, since in the past 2 years since you've been on the show.
Right. Yes, sir. Mr. Blair, it's a great opportunity to be here today, and I thank you for welcoming me and making sure that we get a chance to address our community in West Memphis, Arkansas, and surrounding areas, what the National Guard is all about and what the National Guard can do for our community. One thing that's new with us is community awareness is a big thing, Army National Guard.
Okay.
And we have really been geared up to our community awareness, making sure that the community know what the Army National Guard is all about. You know, we date back to 1636, the oldest Army, the oldest military organization, you know, around. And going back to 1636, we was considered a citizen soldiers, and today we are citizen soldiers. And one thing we want the community to know that we're still here. One of our slogans is always here, always ready. And we've done a whole lot in our community. And this day and time, there's a lot going on, and you want to make sure that the people in the community know that the National Guard is here to be a great asset and to make sure that things are going well in our community. You know, you hear a lot of talk, you know, about the many different disasters that's been taking place in 2011 and a lot of storms in 2011. And in the state of Arkansas, the Army National Guard was deployed around the state for different floods and different things like that. You know, we got, you know, a lot of organizations that's investing in the Mid-South area because, you know, we're looking at maybe one day a possible earthquake.
Right.
And so the Army National Guard, you know, we're forming up with different organizations and making sure that if something ever happened in this area, we'll be available, we'll be accessible, we'll be able to help our community and move forward and deal with whatever situation arises at that time. So, you
know, when people, you know, think of the National Guard, they really don't think of it on that level. Right. Students and young adults, I've had them, you know, first thing they talk about is just going in and serving. Right. But to be Nursianic in that way, yes, sir, to be servants in that way is very remarkable. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. And that's just a small fraction of a pie, so to speak, of what you all are totally about. Right, right. You're true. You're right. And, you know, we deal with a lot of teenagers in our area, a lot of high school students, you know, in our local area. And we really try to make sure that they understand that serving is so very important. Yeah. We live in a society where a lot of people have their hand out and I want, what can I get out of the situation? You know, how can I get this? How can I get that? But a lot of times we missed what serving is all about. Right. It's all about being able to give back or being able to do something for others, you know, being able to help somebody else progress or somebody else move forward. And so as a local recruiter, one of my tasks, my personal passion is to make sure that I allow students to realize that let's take a step back. Let's see if we can really assess what, you know, what we're really looking for in our lives. Are we always looking for, you know, how much we can get out of, or are we going to look at what can I do to empower my community? What can I do to empower the people that I'm around? So my office partner and I, we work very hard to make sure that, you know, young people really understand that serving is so very important. Yeah. If we don't take a step back and, you know, realize that we offer a whole lot, we can do a whole lot by just one act of kindness, one act of service. So that's so very important. Just recently, I enlisted a guy, a local high school student in this past year, 2011. And when I enlisted this young man, he needed a lot of help. Matter of fact, when he graduated from high school, he was 20 years old. I see. And he was a senior in high school. And when I enlisted him,
it took a whole lot in order to help him out and help him to get everything he needed in order to enlist. And this guy was one step from being homeless, the truth of the matter, and have anything. He only had like a few pair of clothes and, you know, stuff like that. He had some great teachers, administrators that was looking out for him to really help him make sure he graduated. Well, we got him enlisted. He graduated from high school, and he went off to basic training, went off to do his job training. And what's such a great story is this guy was so motivated that he wanted to make sure that he didn't fall in the normal of what guys and his family was doing. You know, the traps that they fall into, you know, falling victims to the street and, you know, things of that nature. So I really worked very hard with him. And when he went off to basic training, it was a great opportunity for his family to see him progressing and moving forward.
Good deal.
Even being at the age of 20 years old and just graduating from high school. So when he went to training, one thing he always told me is, Sergeant Sims, when I come back, I want to go to college. I always push education. Education is so very important. And we talked several times about college, and he wanted to go to UAPB, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. And I told him, I said, son, I'm gonna work with you. I'm gonna help you get there. And he held me to that. This past Christmas, he came home on Christmas break, and he had like a week and a half left of training. I think on New Year's Day, he shipped out going back to basic training, or his job training on, I think, January the 2nd, on New Year's Day. I sat down with him and we chatted a little while. He said, Sergeant Sims, he said, I really want to go to college. He said, I graduate from training next week. When I come back, I really want to go to college. So anyway, this guy, the next following week, it took us about maybe a week or so, and I started making some calls down to UAPB, and I had another guy working with me, and we got him enrolled in school while he was away in training.
That is great.
He graduated, he turned 21 years old. The day he graduated from training, he turned 21 years, came back the next day, was down at UAPB getting him enrolled in school, and now he's his first semester at college.
That's all right.
You know, it's a great opportunity to be able to, another act of just giving back, just,
and
you know, helping, going
sure,
beyond my normal job description, just to help a kid out. So.
Well, you know, when we do that, it does not, even life itself, when we just do only what we're required to do, that's okay.
Yes.
But in actuality, it's about going beyond and serving beyond.
Right.
Because anybody can just do what they're supposed to do and close the book and go home.
Right.
But it's that extra, going that extra mile, that other mile, that makes all the difference for yourself and for people.
Exactly.
That you're helping.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, you mentioned earlier something that's new that's going on. You know, a lot of people. I get a lot of calls in the community, and folks say, well, can you help out my son? He don't have any direction. He needs some help, he needs guidance. One great thing that I see taking place is that you have more people this day and time realizing that the Army National Guard is a great opportunity. The military is looking at quality.
I hear you.
The military is really concerned about the quality of the people that we enlisted in the military this day and time. There's a lot of high technology that we have to deal with. There's a lot of great jobs in the military that require some great mental power.
I believe it.
You know, we're looking for those students that has a 21 on the ACT. You know, those students that's college bound, because we can actually help those students along their way during their college career, and they can work on their military career and college career all at the same time.
I remember, even, not to cut you off.
Yes, sir.
Even when I was in high school, I had friends who could, at that time, you could, this is back in 1980, you could drop out of high school and just go to the Army. But things have changed, times have changed, qualifications have changed, and I can understand them wanting the best of the best, because in actuality you're competing. You're competing when you go into these areas and wars and things like that, and even just training regiments, you're competing. And it's important that you have the best of the best.
Exactly. Corporate America is competing. different businesses are competing.
Right.
They're looking for the best qualified people to come onto within their ranks, within their company,
right,
in order to make sure they can exceed, you know, in this business market. So the military is looking for great people as well. One great thing about it is we're able to produce some great community leaders in the Army National Guard.
Good deal.
And when you produce great community leaders, you're actually making a difference in every arena around us. I think last time we mentioned on the show that it's amazing that you can live next door to a banker and he's a member of the Army National Guard.
Yeah.
Or you can go around the corner and there's a doctor that lives in your community and he can actually be a member of the Army National Guard. So it's so much more there than just picking up a weapon and going to war.
Exactly.
You know, there's so many different opportunities that's there where you can grow and develop. So, which is, you know, really great. So.
Yeah, yeah. If an individual like myself, if I coming out of high school, whatever, and wanted to become a member of the National Guard, what process or procedure will I have to go through as far as, is it take a test? Explain a little bit to the viewing audience what's required.
Yes, sir. One thing that we looked at, the first thing that's done, we pre-qualify an individual to see if we're able to help them out, if you know, we can move forward. Biggest thing we do is what's called a pre-test for the ASVAB. And the ASVAB test is just like it's an entry exam into the armed forces, just like taking the ACT for college. And the ASVAB is so very important because that determines what jobs you qualify for, what benefits is available to you. After the ASVAB test, we look at medical qualifications. You know, you got to pass a physical.
Right.
And another challenge is for a lot of people in our area is law violations. You know, you got to pass a background check. And this day and time, you know, there's involved with you know, qualifying.
So with a felony and things like that would be very difficult for me to.
Yes, sir.
Become a part of you guys.
Yes, sir. And a lot of people are not aware that, you know, we can't get waivers for felonies. You know, 10, 15 years ago, we could get a waiver for a felony and get someone enlisted. So quality, again, quality is very, very, very important. You know, then you do your normal testing for, you know, other different things and, you know, stuff like that. So it's processing. It's a lot involved in processing for the armed forces.
What about, I would say, with a person that has tattoos, I'm just going to use, I'll just pull Mike Tyson out.
Okay.
You know how he has the tattoo on the side of his face.
Right.
How does that affect? Does that affect
yes, it does.
enrollment?
Yes, it does. The armed forces have changed due to, you know, our environment and today's.
Right.
You have a lot of people that, you know, have tattoos and they do it for many different reasons.
Right.
So the armed forces have to change their, you know, the regulations on tattoos. You can't have any tattoos that's gang related or racist or anything like that.
Right.
And we have to get waivers for those individuals that put tattoos on their hands and on their neck. It's a disqualifier, but everything is, the waiver is based on, you know, what the tattoo is, you know, is.
Yeah.
So it's a case by case situation
I
pretty
understand.
much when it comes to that. But long as yeah, and one thing with the armed forces is that what we look at is that when someone has a tattoo, we want to make sure the tattoo is covered if they're in their uniform.
Okay.
Most uniforms come down to your wrist, you know, to your hand, and want to make sure that it's not visible when you have collars on your uniform.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah, we have to deal with that a lot, you know,
right.
this day and time. So I've been recruiting for almost 9 years. And so over the past 9 years, I've seen a lot of things change. And when I first started recruiting, you can have a tattoo on your neck or on your hand. It was just permanently disqualified. You know, you would have folks that try to go and get tattoos removed just to enlist in the military. So
right.
yeah,
I know, being a personal trainer, I've had individuals come to me and say, you know, Maurice, I'm trying to get in the military. I need to get in shape. I need to lose X amount of pounds. Are those guidelines the same with you guys?
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is. Yeah. And that's another case-by-case situation. There's a height and weight requirement, and if you don't meet that height and weight requirement,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have what's called body fat mass. You know,
body BMI.
Fat mass. Yeah, we do that in the military as well.
Wow. Okay.
So with the body fat measurements, everybody's, body is a little different.
Right.
You know, with the guys, we measure around their neck and we measure around their abdomen area. The females, we measure around their neck, their waist area, and the hip area, come up with a beautiful calculation and determine what their BMI is. And there's a certain percentage that each branch of the military looks at. In the National Guard, our numbers are pretty similar to what the Army has. And so, and we just kind of go by that. And we see a lot of that as well. You have a lot of teenagers this day and time, there's a little bit overweight.
Right.
And so, we work with them. We try to come up with a game plan to help where they need to be in order to enlist.
Good deal.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Who or what motivated you to go into the military?
Wow. I found out about the National Guard, I think it was about 14, 15 years old, and there was gentlemen, 3 guys that was in my church that were like brothers to me, and they were in the Army National Guard. They enlisted when I was about 14 or so, and they told me about the great opportunities that the National Guard had available. They was in college, they were college students.
Okay.
All 3 brothers were in college when they enlisted, and they told me all the great stories, all the great things they got a chance to do, and it motivated me. I was interested in the adventure. A lot of people come in for many different reasons, but I came in for the adventure.
Okay.
Get a chance to do those crawling in the mud, jumping over obstacles, and stuff like that, and hiding out in the woods, all those great things.
Right.
So basic training was so exciting, for me. It was a challenge, but it was so very exciting. So when I turned 17, I enlisted and been in ever since. And over the years, over the past 10 years, I realized what my true purpose was. And it was all about serving, and it is something that I always try to make sure I instill in my new soldiers that I enlist, because it's so very important that you may come in for the educational benefits, you may come in for the money, or you may come in to just be in the military. But one thing we always want to realize or remember is that we're here to serve, to make a difference in our community and abroad. So
I know I had a few relatives, cousins who went into the military, and I know with all the training and activities and traveling and exercises and drills, and they would come back to visit, and they would be very disciplined, very driven, very disciplined, very focused.
Yes, sir.
And I was impressed with that.
Yes, sir.
And I saw where it carried over even when they had finished doing their time in the military.
Yes, sir.
And went into civilian life.
Yes, sir.
It carried over.
Yes, sir.
And those individuals grew very successful individuals in the community. It was mind-boggling, because I knew them when they were undisciplined. I knew them when they were just nonchalant. Just whatever come.
Yes, sir.
Any way the wind blows, cool with them.
Yeah.
But
whatever goes.
Right. But they really altered themselves, their mindsets.
Yes, sir.
And that was always intriguing to me. And I love, I love to read, and I have several military type books.
Right.
And the more you read, the more inspiring it is.
Right.
And even an individual like yourself, it's not the fact that you've come from a well-to-do, wealthy family,
Yes, sir.
or a family that everyone in your household, adults, were doctors and lawyers or whatever. But what I'm saying all that to say that it appeared that it put you on a path.
Yes, sir.
Of discipline.
Yes, sir.
And which built in character, integrity, and look what is is made you into the day. And like I said, I've always, from knowing you over the duration of years, I've always looked up to you, and
thank you, sir.
And I've never seen you coming into the building down and droopy and singing a sad song.
Yes, sir.
And you were always up-tempo, upbeat,
yes, sir.
very confident.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
About what you were doing and even the undertakings you had on. You always confident in that. And
Thank you.
I know that came from, you know, the way you were raised, but also your military training.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And that's the key. The military can do so much more. And I always use, for example, I come from a great family background.
Right.
My parents did a great job raising me. I had a good childhood. And one thing that the military did was just enhance.
I understand.
Enhance what my parents did, my upbringing. It takes a village to raise a child. I had some great people in my life, some great mentors.
Wow.
And I think they did a remarkable job. And when I enlisted in the military, my eyes came wide open.
Was that right?
Yes, it did. And I was like, wow, I can accomplish so much here. You know, I am a great individual already, but I can go so much further. I can do so much more. I can offer the military a whole lot. And I always say that, you know, we're looking to see what you can bring to the table. What can you offer? Right. You know, so that's so very important. Yeah.
I know I had the opportunity a few years ago to go to Washington, D.C.
Yes, sir.
And they had the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Yes, sir.
And to watch those guys,
wow, man,
was in action.
Yes, sir.
And I'm saying in action, they were, I mean, very disciplined.
Yes, sir.
And they wouldn't blink. I mean, it's just, I mean, it was just you. I can't explain it. You have to actually be there. You know what I'm talking about.
I've been there. Yeah.
And you know, you know, now you see the commercials on television. Go to the Army, go to the Navy, go to the Marines, be all that you can be.
Right.
And, you know, really, it's a whole world out there.
It is.
And I would encourage anybody, young man or young lady, who would really want to life to the fullest.
Yes.
You know, and I'm talking about outside of your county, outside of your state, and even outside of your country, to travel the world, to take advantage of that opportunity, because it's a whole world out here, Sergeant.
It is.
And it does exactly what you said. It opens your eyes.
Yes, sir.
And I personally, you know, the little traveling I've done, and it's been inside the United States. In all states, but Alaska and Hawaii, I've been there 10 times over each state, and how it motivated me. Now, imagine if I had the opportunity to go globally.
Across the globe, yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So I would advise any young man, any young lady, that, you know, and not only that, but as you say, now it's changed. You can. You can, from an educational standpoint, you can go and obtain your education. You can make money. You can just you're reinventing yourself totally. And I just it's mind-boggling.
Yes, yes. And you know, one thing that our generation of students or teenagers that we deal with this day and time, commitment is a big thing for them.
Yes.
They don't really want to make a long-term commitment. But one great thing about the Army National Guard is a part-time obligation.
Wow.
You could be a full-time college student and be part-time in the Army National Guard.
I didn't know that.
You can drill 1 weekend a month and be a full-time college student.
Wow.
And you can get great benefits to go to college. The National Guard can pay for your college. And you can do so much more. You can still do a little traveling while you're a full-time college student in the Army National Guard and moving forward. And then once you graduate from college, you can do other things. You know, I always like to say your start doesn't have to take where your finish is.
I hear you.
The race is given to the swift, not to the swift nor to the strong, but the one who endures to the end, right?
To the end.
Our start can be small, but our finish could be so great.
Yeah.
In the Army National Guard, you can start as a private or a lower ranking individual, but you can move up and go so far.
So what is your rank now?
Sergeant First Class.
Okay.
You know, when I came in, I was just a basic little private, you know, and over these 21 years, I've done very well, been very successful. Yeah. So trying to go to the next level, Mr. Blair.
You will.
Yes, sir.
You're on your way.
Thank you.
You sure are.
I appreciate that.
And I know it's gratifying to
yes, sir.
to see individuals become a part of the National Guard and watch them change.
So rewarding.
You know, because it's so disheartening out here.
Yes, it is. Even
in corporate America.
Yes, it is.
It's disheartening. You know, jobs are shutting down.
Right.
Just on any level, pretty much now. Not only just I say corporate America, but any level.
Yes, sir.
And you know, nothing's a 100% guarantee, but what you learn and what you experience, no one can take that away from you.
Right.
And that just only increases your self-value, your face value as an individual.
Right. Right.
And you know, you take that in any segment of your life and be very successful with it by the teachings, the principles that are indoctrinated in the military.
Right.
And you know, I see it and you see it if we're honest with each other and honest with ourselves. You know, lack thereof, discipline and commitment, like you said, it's you see it is not really there like you know, like it once was in our youth. And to embark upon that, it will only enhance and make them as individuals better.
Yes. And then it can help them reach their goals.
Yes.
Long-term goals is so very important.
Yes.
You want to make sure you always have more than one avenue.
You're right. You're right.
As an infantry soldier, we always talked about avenues of approach. When you're looking for the enemy, or when you're going out on a mission, your avenue of approach, or what avenue the enemy may come in at you. And I always like to tell youth, let's look at more than one path of achieving your success. Allow us to be a part of your success. Allow us to be that backing to help you get to where you're trying to go. It takes a whole lot to make it, and it takes a lot to just make it even in our economy. So,
it does.
You know, if you have a student that has a scholarship, allow the Army National Guard to help pay things that the scholarship doesn't pay as you're a full-time college student. If my children join the Army National Guard, I would be so happy. I think all my kids will end up receiving a scholarship.
Right.
And if we saving money and if a parent is saving money and putting money aside for their student or for their child to go to college, let's say, for example, one parent may save $10,000 for their child to go off to college, and that child receives a scholarship and they got this extra fund of $10,000. Well, allow that $10,000 to stay there and invest it in something else, and allow the Army National Guard to help come in and help take advantage of, or not take advantage, but help the Army National Guard can come in and take up the little small things that we realize, you know, that's there, because a lot of students don't realize what it takes in order to make it just 1 year in college.
That's true. You know? It's very expensive.
You know, we could say, oh, tuition costs, this is what our room and board costs, but there's other expenses there that we overlook.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, there's so many different ways we could look at that.
Yeah. Well, I want to say this, time has winded down.
Wow.
Already, and I've enjoyed having you on the show.
Likewise.
You keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll keep us posted, and,
yes,
and we'd love to have you back again.
Yes, sir.
And just keep up the good work, Sergeant Sims. You're doing a tremendous job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And thank you for tuning in to Lead Life Enrichment and Development, building bigger minds, brighter spirits, and better bodies. Thank you.